Hello, and welcome back. This is Module 1, and this is The Closet Perfectionist. So this course is designed to help working mums reduce their anxiety, and I'm sure you know what I mean because you're here. One of the causes of anxiety, as you can imagine, is perfectionism. So first of all, let's have a think about what perfectionism is. The definition of perfectionism is a disposition to regard anything short of perfection as unacceptable. So perfectionism can sound really great and very positive. It's the perfect life, the perfect family, the perfect career. But with perfectionism, you get a negative flip side. And that's the feelings of anxiety and stress that you get when things don't work out the way you want them to, when things aren't perfect, or perhaps when things aren't done to that really high standard that you set for yourself. And it's not your fault because on social media today, everything is presented as perfect. You've got these women, they have the perfect body, they have no wrinkles, I have quite a lot here. They have a perfect home, they have a perfect family, their kids are never dirty and messy. And it does make it seem as if their lives are perfect. It can be hard to remember that that's not actually real. That isn't how their lives are. It's taken an awful lot of effort to get them to be looking as amazing as that for that perfect shot or that perfect video. In fact, I used to be in advertising, and I remember we were doing an advert, a TV advert, and we must have spent at least 2 hours trying to get the girl that was in the advert to have her hair in exactly the way that the director wanted it. I mean, it took such a long time. And so that isn't perfect. You don't roll out of bed looking like that, and we have to remember that. But we start thinking as working mums that we're somehow less than because our lives aren't perfect, because they're messy and dirty, they're complicated, and they're also very unpredictable. No matter how much you try and plan, a toddler doesn't always want to do what you want them to. And to be honest, my daughter's a teenager, and that can be just as bad, if not worse sometimes. But we are not less than. Being a working mum is very difficult. And we need to learn to be kind to ourselves. You need to learn to be kind to yourself. So some clues that perfectionism might already be having a negative impact on your life. Have a think about these and see if any of them ring true. Do you get intimidated if you get invited to social events? If you're invited to a big party or perhaps at work, networking. I used to find networking made me feel almost sick before I went in. Do you procrastinate? What do you do when you're being asked to make a decision? Do you do it quickly or do you take some time, to think about it? Do you procrastinate a lot? I know that if there's something that I don't want to do, I tend to put on a washing load. Whether there's enough washing to put in the load or not, I seem to find myself at the washing machine. And now when I do that, I think, there's a reason I'm doing this. What am I procrastinating over? Do you get low and depressed? Now, feeling low, especially, after the events of sort of the COVID pandemic, that's normal. But if you think that you're feeling low or feeling depressed more than, say, your family and friends are, that could be a sign that perfectionism is having a negative impact on your life. And do you have low self-esteem? You would think that with the perfect life, the perfect career, the perfect family that you're trying to present, you would have quite high self-esteem because, to everybody else, it looks like you've got the perfect life. So why wouldn't you feel great? But actually, for most perfectionists, they really don't have high self-esteem. And this can be a sign that you're struggling with perfectionism. So I think the first thing you should do is find out how much of a perfectionist you really are. If you download the workbook, there's a quiz in there called the Perfectionist Quiz. Take that and see what you think. There's also some space as well for you to note down any ahas you have, any learning moments, anything that comes up for you. And it's important to write those down because they'll be clues that we can use later on. Remember that doing this exercise might bring up some negative emotions for you. There might be some difficult realizations. And don't be hard on yourself if that happens, because for all of us, this is a learning curve. And by tackling your perfectionism, we're going to make things better. So if that does happen, be kind to yourself, have a glass of wine, have a cup of tea, watch some really trashy movies. And also remember that you can use EFT, the tapping that I showed you in the free anti-anxiety workbook, Working Mum Anxiety workbook and video. So use that because it really does help. It's a pattern interrupter and it helps calm your emotions and take those stress levels right down. So remember to use that if you find yourself feeling a bit tense or agitated after the quiz. Whatever you score on the quiz, remember, you are worthwhile, you are valued, and you are doing a great job. You might not think you are, but the fact that you're even here shows that you are because you're worried about doing the best for the people in your life. So give yourself a bit of a break, go have some chocolate, that's always my go-to, and I will see you in the next module.